the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious to wake... Greetings, Captain. I am speaking to you through the Hope's computer system. It's a rather cramped feeling, but it'll do. Probably not, but don't let that stop you. Searching. Please stand by. Ah, found one. Are you sure? That is extremely dangerous. Skipping the Hope and also potentially kill an entire planet. How? Jump-starting the skip drive. I wouldn't advise...
Worst ways to go out, I suppose. We gotta talk about this.
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious to wake...
We gotta talk about this.
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious to wake... Admitting a deficit? My, you never cease to amaze me, Captain.
ADA. Does your captain seriously intend to do a micro-jump in-system with engines that haven't been powered?
That is what my captain...
But that is a gross misuse of the skip drive. The Zero Point Drives Corp and I will not be held responsible for any damage.
Yes.
You should not be doing this.
Thank you, Hope. It looks like all systems are go. Captain, I would advise you to... Oh, good. We are still alive and have successfully skipped into Terra 2's orbit. I reported as much to Phineas Wells, but he has not responded. Perhaps you should check in on him.
What? Huh? What was that? Huh. Saw something. Guess I'm gonna take a look.
Huh? What was that? Hey, you!
I don't recognize you. Oh, hell. Of course. Just don't make more paper. All right?
Captain, I shall now play the
The board is here. They've found me somehow. They're about to blast my door open. Mike, the board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. You hear me? They're fucking corporates. You fucking pigs! I'll take...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital. How can... May... We have successfully arrived at Phineas's orbital lab, Captain, and we are still in one piece. Shall I congratulate...
Heads up!
Great work!
Good, you're back. Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for... I believe the crew would like to speak with you to... as you heal...
Well, folks, I ain't exactly keen on busting into a prison, but riddling bored stooges with bullets does sound like a ride and a half.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth.
Captain, come on. Even I've heard of the biggest prison the colony's ever seen, and on some occasions
Still, we can't do nothing.
The armed surveillance protocols on a maximum security prison planet are highly sophisticated. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit...
Let's just do it. Kick down some...
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business.
You didn't hire me to think.
I think it's insane, but
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm...
Let Sam get the grime out. It's...
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me...
We gonna prepare? Sure. Guess I...
The fewer folks we got to hurt, the better. Maybe on our way out...
Sure, boss. You do the talking. I'll pack a few more rounds of...
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartar... Resident count is as follows. 3,071. The interior can be chilly. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me. In the event that I can make the assure... Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence, you are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized. I wager it'll take a bit longer than it takes you to lose your patience and storm out. To be honest, that'd make my job a lot easier. You come out, we shoot. We're on lockdown. We have standing orders. Tartarus docking authorities signing up. Hang on. Looks like you're gonna have company at the execution. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the groundbreaker? What the... Pay no mind to that, just...
Transmission. How can... Take care. I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. I would. Oh.
Wait, you're the stylist? Thank the law you're here. Everyone knows how particular the chairman is about his eyebrows. Anyway, Tartarus docking authority signing up. Hang on. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the groundbreaker? What the?
Transmission terminated. But how can I'll be here? Take someone to watch your back.
The captain did right by us once.
was that?
Now it's
Was that
fair.
noise?
The board will never own Belfry. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardet. Are you new here? Oh. Hold it. Yeah? I...
How long we'd last out on the surface?
This might be the loneliest place in the whole system. Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
Keep your eyes out.
what the board wants. Every worker in Halcyon stuffed into one of those chambers.
Let's go, troops. Stellar Base counting on us.
Don't mess with us.
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. And I see you've brought the kid along. Babysitters may be expensive, but they're worth it.
Yeah, keep talking, pal. I'll just keep...
I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. My word! It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thanks. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, but that's between us. As far as my adoring sit... Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve... I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society? Are you... I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and If I and my people can ride it out in luxury and happiness, yes, I would. I don't know if you've noticed, Captain, but Halcyon's I'll admit, there's no shortage of Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive...
Are you out of your mind? Rockwell's the biggest monster in Halcyon. You got any idea how many lives... I've had enough. You even think about cooperating?
Uh-huh.
Stick it with us.
You know, you're a stronger captain than I gave you credit for.
MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and fight!
Really doing this, huh?
Captain, you have an You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. I'm afraid I can't. You have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, you would have been the... For all your talents. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove it. All that's left to do is put down this riot. Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one chance. Captain, you've...
Processing data. Beginning.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old... What? Break into the most heavily guarded... You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony. Theatrics. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth.
You mean... we're all...
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. Yes, we do. You've done... We must begin the revival process immediately. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job. When I revived you, I had our roles reversed. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to... We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow...
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band
Как-то скучновато, в общем.
to the cause of saving Halcyon.
Я немножко большего ждал.
The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival.
А я надеялся, она поможет.
Adelaide would never know. She died.
Хорошо поможет.
Under the leadership
Все
of
оказалось не так.
the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. There are no official records of Felix Millstone leaving the labyrinth. Some say he found himself a reasonably cozy cell and carved his name into the wall. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name. And in no time, she was a fixture in the groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. Chairman Rockwell served as the public face for the changes in Halcyon to come. Whenever you needed strings pulled or a voice to sell a policy change, Rockwell was only too happy to oblige. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster.
Ну отлично, то есть, в принципе, колония выжила.
by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists. The greatest of
Спасение
which was you.
колонистов
No one
помогло.
knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Ура! Круто! Было весело. Прикольная игра и много веселых моментов, шуток и вообще разработчики, конечно, молодцы. Реально было весело, интересно разбираться во всей этой политике. Не знаю, в третий раз уже отмечу, что все-таки юмор, да, это круто. Много юмора было. Что ж, всем спасибо и пока.